quick talk about sugar. What am I going to tell you that you don't know already? Well, maybe this is a small class, so understand some chemistry first and then some sugar substitutes and the truth about them. So, sugar exists in nature, or when we talk sugar, we talk glucose in the body because that's the molecule we measure. And when we talk sugar in the kitchen, we're talking about sucrose, which is a combination of glucose and fructose. It exists in nature that way. We extract it from sugar beets and sugar cane, and it's processed and refined, taking the plants, all the plant products, and just making it into pure that. And it's just because of the convenience of transporting it, crystallized, and using it in the kitchen for many different things. The sky is the limit, as you know. Now, it exists in plants too in that form because it's an easy way to transport it and utilize it, but is coupled in plants with fiber and other antioxidants and things that makes it a little bit better when you're eating it. It does not stop your insulin from spiking and your sugar, but it's a slower uptake, like in fruits. If you're diabetic, you have to still be careful and remember not to abuse fruits. But it's good to take fruits because they have fiber, antioxidants, minerals, and vitamins. So let's put that aside and you understand that, in moderation, sugar is not going to kill you. Yes, it can cause inflammation, but I think the bad actor, the real bad actor, is the insulin. And that insulin, when it lingers, when your body is resistant to it because we have used too much of the sugar. Now you hear fructose is bad for you. Yes, fructose in itself is bad in large amounts because your body does not metabolize it just like sugar. When sugar comes in, your body takes it and puts it in the cell. Insulin goes up and just packages it. And if you're exercising, you use it, it goes to the liver, it goes to different places, the muscle, and is stored in the form of glycogen mostly. And if you do too much of it, then it starts causing other problems because there are pathways that when there's excess sugar, it starts precipitating in your eyes in the form of sorbitol. And I'm not going to get into the whole chemistry, it's extremely intricate, but it's when you have high levels, when you're diabetic, when you're pre diabetic, or you have insulin resistance. You don't want to activate those pathways because it can damage your kidney, your eyes, your nerves, your heart. That's the extreme, okay? Now, fructose, on the other hand, it can easily be taken into the liver, and the liver phosphorylates it, which is a way to say the body does something, put a phosphorus group in order to utilize it, and it can convert it into fatty acids. And these fatty acids is what cause fatty liver, and it can increase your triglycerides, and it can cause heart disease, and on and on and on. So that's why fructose in large amounts, especially in the form of high fructose corn syrup, which is extremely concentrated, very sweet. Why was that created? Not evil people created it, is because it was easier to make, cheaper to make, sweeter. You need less amounts to make a candy, and it was cheaper. So manufacturers said, great. And the secret is it makes you crave it more because it never satisfies, just like sugar can. Now, sugar satisfies you, but you're craving as soon as you crash because your body's saying, I need more. But fructose does not have a reset button as good as glucose does. So, with that in mind, that's why we avoid these things. Now, there's a misconception about sugar in natural sources like honey, maple syrup, agave. You don't abuse those either because they do have calories. If you're trying to avoid calories and lose weight, or if you're trying to control your sugar and your insulin spikes, which is ultimately what you want, not to have insulin rampant in your body, creating havoc and signaling your body to pack fat and store stuff, you want to control it and have moderation. These things are going to cause problems too. Now, if you are using a sweetener and you want the healthier version, organic, maple, syrup, honey, or agave, because they come from plants and they're mildly or minimally processed, and you get a lot of the benefits and nutrients that come with them. So that's the mystery behind that. Sugar cane is table sugar. So don't let them fool you. You can find some products that have pure glucose, which is what we measure. That's why there's the difference. People say, why call it glucose in the body? And because glucose makes sucrose. It's glucose and fructose. That's table sugar. Now, in the body is glucose because that's what we're measuring. And there are products that have it, mainly in hospitals and mainly in races. You can see somebody taking glucose because they need a quick push with that sugar when they're losing or hitting the wall in a big race. And those are glucose products. You want the purest, easiest form to use. It spikes you quickly and it's utilized quickly. But you don't want that when you're cooking because it's not as effective and it's harder to extract and it's not as tasteful as or as easy to manage as sucrose. Moving to the next step, we have alcohol sugars, man-made mostly, and the two main ones are erythritol and xylitol. There are others that we use in the medical world to prep your bowel when we're doing a colonoscopy because it makes you have diarrhea. All of these may make you bloated um, when they're processed by the gut bacteria and the intestines. So you have to be careful. They're not absorbed, and that's why they don't spike sugars. Xylitol may spike a little bit your insulin in large amounts, but not in the amounts you find in gum or some toothpaste has it. I'm going to explain why. Now, erythritol had a bad reputation because of heart problems. Well, that has been cleared. So it's a good substitute because it has no spikes in sugar and no calories. It's not absorbed. And again, moderation. And then you have xylitol, who is an amazing product for mouth bacteria. It promotes it, it feeds it, they like it. You get the good bacteria to grow, protecting your teeth. So you're going to see it in gum and you're going to see it in some toothpaste. And that one coupled with hydroxyapatite is a great combination for a toothpaste. So look for those because you're protecting your teeth, may decrease bad breath, and you do have a microbiome in your mouth, and that's basically one of the main foods that you can do to improve it. Moving to the next level or the next set, we have the sucralose, the aspartame, and the saccharin. Sucralose, you see it everywhere. I was going to say it doesn't spike sugar. It usually does not, but there are some studies that suggested that combined with glucose, if you get a soda and then eat French fries or pasta or bread or starches, you may increase the absorption of that glucose. And that is not solid, very strong evidence, but there is a suggestion, and there has been some studies that are good and well done that did show that. So be cognizant. If you get in that Diet Coke to decrease the calories and try not to spike your sugar, don't follow with French fries or a bunch of pasta because you may absorb more than you want it. And saccharin had a bad reputation because of bladder cancer. Not anymore. Again, this is clear by evidence, so you don't have to worry about it. It was in animals, large amounts, and the way they metabolize it, so not a problem anymore, but it's already tainted, unfortunately. And aspartame, if you have phenylketonuria, you have to be careful because it can cause problems. You see it in the labels where they have it, but it's another one that does not spike your sugar, and it does not cause any problem with insulin. So another good one from the calorie standpoint and the sugar spike standpoint. Then we get to the sugar substitutes that are my favorite. We have stevia. We have monk fruit, very good for you. And stevia, it's good because it comes from a plant, and in some people it can lower the blood pressure. So if you have high blood pressure and you're taking medication, check with your doctor, but it's not going to do a tremendous, not a substitute for medication, but everything adds and helps. And if you're going to sweeten something and you use stevia, that may help control your sugar. Then you have monk fruit, comes also from the fruit, as it says, and it has a great set of antioxidants, It also can promote GLP production, GLP-1, yes, just like the drug. Um, it can promote the actual GLP-1 in your gut, make it release, not in amounts that's going to be equal to the tirzepatide and semaglutide, but it helps because it's blocking some of the sugar uptake. Monk fruit, and then my favorite, allulose. Allulose and monk fruit both have those properties. Allulose, especially, it does increase your GLP-1. It does decrease the amount of sugar absorbed. Again, not in huge amounts, but everything helps. So if you ate a sugary food and you follow it with allulose, or let's say your morning coffee, you drink it and put allulose, a little bit of inulin, which is a great prebiotic. Those two mix it really good with a little collagen. And if you want some fat, olive oil. I prefer olive oil than butter. Why? Because to me it's healthier. People are going to hate that, but it is true. And you mix it with your coffee and drink it. Nice gut relief, nice gut food for the bacteria, a nice start of your day right before you eat your food. And then if you get some toast, the allulose you put in there may help you slow down the absorption of that glucose and minimize the impact. There has been studies shown, and it works. In fact, there's a brand they call Sugar RX that uses it to promote their products because they found this in their studies. So a good alternative, if you ask me of all of them, I love allulose because not only you can add it to your stuff, you can make cookies and bread, or not bread but cake. Any dessert that you use is one on one, just like sugar, and you don't taste the difference. It works just like sugar. Why is it not seen more? Because it's expensive, and manufacturers are trying to increase their margins. So they're not going to favor that one. Maybe one day it will go down in price. But allulose is pretty good. If you ask me of the entire range of sugar substitutes, that's the one. No calories, improves your absorption of or decreases absorption of glucose, less spikes, GLP promoter, and it has also some prebiotic uh, benefits. So until I find something negative, or if you know something negative, let me know. But it looks pretty good. Monk fruit is too also good. Not as known, but it's coming. It's an up and coming one, and it has its own good properties. Some of them are not seen in allulose. So monk fruit, allulose, two good ones to keep in your pocket and use them at home. If you have any questions, please let me know. I hope this was educational and help you in some way increase your knowledge. That way, don't let anybody fool you and give you some false information and craziness. And again, I'm not your doctor. I cannot give you advice. I'm happy to be your doctor if you want to come. I open my clinic with the Sydenham Clinic. I am their medical director in the Woodlands, and I am taking new patients. I don't know for how long we're going to take new patients because if we get full, we don't want to overwhelm ourselves. That's the whole point of concierge, specialized, personalized care. This is a clinic that we use to give you advice on longevity, but I mean, I can't promise you we're going to give you longevity. We're hoping to give you health span, a longer, healthy life, but that ultimately may improve your lifespan, which then together they mean longevity. But the main purpose of this is to give you a better functioning body. The goal is to find what makes you tick, find what's going on in your body, and correct anything that looks headed to the wrong direction. Most of it is going to be what you do for yourself, but we're going to find the things that you don't control with your actions, or at least not initially, and help you control them with the combination of evidence based natural ways and some established ways. Yes, may need medication, God forbid, but I think some medications are actually lifesavers and necessary, sometimes temporary if we can correct the problem. Anyway, come see us. You may just enjoy the view from our office and come hang around. If you follow me and you see my website, any of my links will take you there. I have a surgical clinic, and I have that clinic that's specifically for that now. Have a good day. And whenever you see this, if you have any comments, just click follow. I don't know where this is going to appear, maybe YouTube. Just follow, please. Have a good day.